as far as I'm concerned, we were misled, probably not intentionally, by my mom's DMH worker who set her up with these people. And I thought it was so wonderful, never knowing what the future would hold in store. Do you understand what I told you in the other video? When my mother was well, one of the little twits, half my age, who hasn't liked me from day one, took it upon herself to decide that she wants to know why I'm living here and my mom's not, and she decides to drill while she has my mom alone in the car on the way to the doctor's appointment, her position of power. And my mom walked into that doctor's appointment where I already was waiting because I had to get there by myself, you know, and she was all agitated and whatever, and she's like, that woman was asking me all kinds of questions in the car, Laura. Like, when's the last time I lived in my home? Why are you living there? Have I ever been involved in elder service? All this crap. And I knew who it was. I'm like, I know who it is, because my mom gets confused with them, and I knew who it was. I knew who it was, okay? I knew who it was, and I was right. I was right. But again, I justifiably complained and said, you guys have no right to do that to my mother. She doesn't remember them. It's confused. It's none of your business. And what right do you have to drill my mom about things that, you know what I mean? We had a whole fucking life before you became a part of it 5 measly months ago, you fucking bitches. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, you're gonna sit there and drill my mom, my poor mother, who, you know, she always feels position of authority. But she didn't even know how to answer. She was like answering in the way the woman didn't like. I knew it because my mom said what she said. I know what the woman was trying to do. Okay. You have no right to sit there, use your position of power to drill my mom about things regarding, they're assuming things. They're making judgments, they're jumping to conclusions, they don't like me, they're judging the situation, and they know shit, they know nothing. Because the DMH worker who set my mom up with them didn't deem it necessary to give them every sort of detail about things that went on the years and years and years and years before they became part of my mom's life, see? And then my poor mom, because she gets put in the middle, she has to deal with these people, and then they're nice to her, and she can forget stuff, and she doesn't want me to hear me saying anything negative about them or just warning her, don't trust them, and, you know, it puts her in the middle, and she's mentally ill, and that's all she wrote. I had the nerve to complain, justifiably, don't you do that to my mom. It's one thing when me and this woman don't get along. We haven't gotten along since day one, but how dare she be in a position of power with my mom and start drilling my mom about things that went on long before you guys were a part of my mom's life 5 measly months ago. My God! My mom's life and consequently mine. But they want me out of the way. We already know that. And if you can't understand that, that's fine. Alright? If you also can't understand what Joe and I know, like, Joe and I aren't here to try to convince you of anything, okay? My mom goes in these hospitals and they hurt her. I could write a book on it. They don't help her. And all it is, oh, we need to she's on tons of medication, okay? It's all sick. But I am alone. I can't fight I can't beat the system. I can't fight these people alone. You know what I mean? It's like, ow. I don't want you on my lap anymore if your nails are too long or you're putting welts in my legs. Ow. You know what I mean? I said it before. I just didn't say it to you guys. They sent elder services to my mom's doorstep when my mom was well. When my mom was well. And we were gonna get a lawyer because we know that they don't just go away, whatever. When my mom was well, okay, they sit there and the little fucking, I have to deal with this shit, okay? These little twits who don't know their asses from their elbows, the one, you know, half my age, and I have to, and they don't know shit about what happened in our lives and all these years prior to them entering it, and they get to sit there in judgment and jump to conclusions and reach false, you know what I mean? Make false assumptions, jump to conclusions, the whole 9 yards. And when I have the nerve to write a articulate letter saying you have no right to do that, Elder Services shows up at my mom's door, okay? And then my mom can't get a straight answer of who sent them. They just placate her, they just pass, we don't know, and then they do whatever, right? And only get the straight answer from the primary care physician because he's not government, unlike all of them now. My mom used to at least have a separate non-government psychiatrist. When her DMH worker brought these people into her life, they took over completely. And then when one doesn't like me, she's able to build her little bullshit case against me and then justify and try to drill my poor mom who doesn't even, you know. I was going to tell you all this before my mom wound up in the hospital. She almost did by the skin of her teeth, okay? And she, you know, it was all very, very stressful. I told you, they try to get her to sign a paper and they won't tell her what it is. And she said, no, I'm not going to sign it until my daughter, they won't. And now it's awful, you understand? Because they know I can't stand them, but they're in my mom's life. She knows, my mom knows I can't stand them, but it's cognitive dissonance. If you know what that is, my mom can't deal with it. But when my mom was well, Laura, have you gotten us a lawyer yet? I'm trying, Mom, I'm trying. I had one. I loved him, and then he said he was too busy. And then by the time I find a fucking lawyer, which I couldn't do, and I'm going through all the contracting nightmare, trying to get this bathroom fixed, trying to get her a brand new bathroom for free, you know, doing all of that. Also while trying to find lawyers, and then what do you think happens? My mom starts getting sick again because that's unpredictable. And they're gonna, of course, it's all my fault because everything in this universe is my fault, you know what I mean? In people's eyes when they have ulterior motives. I was sarcastically saying to Joe and Selena, my mom we finally got rid of her sister only to have these motherfucking government people take the sister's place. When my mom was well, I said it to her. I was so disgusted. Nobody will admit they called Elder Services. It's like it didn't happen at all. You know, it sickens me. And I'm smart enough to see through it all. You know? Smart enough to see through it all. But as time goes by, and then, you know, and then my mom, but then when my mom was sick, it's playing right into their hands. Remember, they call out the service when she's not sick. And her primary care physician is the only one who said the truth, that your competence is in question. And I said, well, what'd you say to him? And I told him what was going on. Luckily, I got to. You know, because there have been times with when that new nurse came, and I had to, they don't know, one hand doesn't know what the other's doing. I had already established you're not supposed to sit in on the appointment, but then the new nurse is sitting in on the appointment when I'm there, and I'm like, you're not supposed to do that, and I just didn't want to cause trouble. So in the end, I just let her. But in the future, there was thank God she wasn't sitting on the appointment that particular day where I had to explain to the primary care physician the truth of what happened. And I told him as much as I could tell him. Okay? Remember, this is when my mom is fine. And I said, what'd you say to them? He said, I said, she's fine as long as she takes her meds. You know? And I said, they called elder service, they're wondering what's going on with a situation where they entered their lives 5 months ago, and this is something that, you know, you don't walk into someone's life. Like Selena said, it's bullshit. People have lives. You don't walk into their life and start making false assumptions and judging and jumping to conclusions and all this crap, you fucking assholes. So it all went away. But you understand, it all went away, but it's all there, and now there's a rift. Now I don't trust these people. So then, my mom can't deal with that. She can't deal with, I have to be with these people all the time, and they're nice to me and that. And on the other hand, she knows, I even have her saved a voicemail, she knows that they did it, but when she gets sick, she denies it, and then she just is going to forget it ever happened, but I'm not going to forget. And then if I try to warn her, just, you have to get along with them, but don't reveal stuff, what we're planning, don't reveal stuff about me, keep your guard up at all times. Selena and Joel will say the same thing to you. She doesn't want to hear it. They're nice to me, they're my friends. That's the, you know, you call it the kiss of death or whatever. They're my friends. I'm bad. And then if my mom gets sick, you know, she starts getting sick or whatever, she can't deal with it. It's all she wrote. I can't fight them alone. There's no way in hell I can fight them alone. So if the universe doesn't see fit, and I should do a GoFundMe. Joe always tells me to do GoFundMe. He told me to do GoFundMe last time to see if I could raise money to fight my aunt. If the universe does not see fit to bring me just one person, doesn't have to be million, just at least one person, so I'm not alone. And it can't be the church woman, you understand? You remember I wanted nothing to do with her, but then my mom's, she's back in my mom's life, and you know, she doesn't hold a grudge, but we don't talk about it. But she knows, if she remembers, how angry I was with her when my mom knew her number and called her and said, you know, tell my daughter where I am. That was when my mom had that death scare with the all that crap, and it wanted to be the woman down the street who told me where she was at the church woman. That's betrayal, and I was pissed. I was never going to talk to her again, okay? I left her vicious voicemails. But she doesn't hold a grudge, because here we are. But you know what? She's in La La Land. They can't send your mom to the hospital. Just tell them that she's getting. They don't care about her cataract surgery. You understand? She even called up. What do you want? She called up. They can't tell her anything, but they have to listen. She's been waiting a year for this. You're gonna have her go blind? They don't care. They don't care, church woman. And I can't deal with you thinking everything will be fine when nothing is ever fine. You understand? It's good when at least she's 100% on board. I cut her up to speed. I wasn't talking to her when all this shit happened before. Okay? I don't even remember if I went into details with you when she wound up in the hospital. When she was in her new apartment and she wound up in the hospital. Third time's a charm. And I think I did tell you guys, this third time in the same fucking hospital where she could be headed right now. And I'm supposed to function, right? I think I did tell you, I did, or maybe I put it on private. Maybe there was a video and I was just going to reveal everything and then I put it on private, and, you know, at this point, I should just take everything off private. What's the point? You know? I can only make suggestions. Trishwoman says she remembers from when my aunt could say where she doesn't want my mom sent. No, it doesn't work that way. You can make suggestions and they'll search for a bed they'll exhaust all avenues, but in the end, if they can't, they'll have to go, you know what I mean? They'll try, but in the end, if she's in the regular hospital too long waiting for a bed, they can't keep her there. They can't justify it through insurance, and they will send her. It's happened before. Because I said, why'd you send her? I said, not to. We had no choice. There was no other open beds. And it's always the same fucking hospitals I hate, right? There's no other hospitals in Massachusetts, though. It's probably because they're the worst ones, and they always have the open beds, you know? That's how I feel, because that's what I see. My worst nightmare. It was going to happen a few months ago, and she snapped out of it. Where she's in the mental hospital, and now it's between me and these people who I hate, you understand? And they know I complained about them. They know that it came to nothing, and they, you know, and now it's all their word against mine. I'm mentally ill. I'm alone. I can't fight them. I can't fight them. I can't fight them. One time my mom was well, and I was just so disgusted with all of it. And I was like, you know, they want you so badly, Mama. You should just let them have you. They want you. They try to turn you against me. They want you. I just give you them to give you. Just like, no, don't do that, Laura. I know, Mom. But I also know when you're not well, you turn on me, and that's your kiss of death. Do it alone. I'm not saying that to be like whatever, it's true. I can't do this again. I can't do it alone. If they sent elder services to her apartment when she was well, what do you think they're going to do when she's in the hospital, when she's not well? You get it? You get it? You get it, people? She was fine. That's why she was just so, she was devastated over that. And why do you think they did it? Because they want her declared incompetent, her competence in question, because that can be there can't be any other reason. It has to be me, you know? Because they don't know all the things that happened with the sister. There's a third party, you know, the third party. They don't know anything about the sister. My mom doesn't talk about the sister. She doesn't want to. And you know what I mean? She forgets things, whereas I can write a fucking book, as I've already said. And you know what I mean? So to them, there can be no other reason that I'm living here and she's not, and like Selena and everyone else, you know, Joe and church, well, it's none of their fucking business, but, you know, there can be no other reason except it has to do with me. You get it? Or if we've been involved in elder service before, because when the little bitch asked me, have you ever been involved in elder services, and I didn't answer her, to her, I'm not going to, you know, I can't lie, but I didn't say anything, and that to her, that's confirming it. But in her little twit, ignorant, government-employed brain, she can't think that it could be some other thing. It has to get it. There's a third party involved, bitches. We don't talk about her. Doesn't mean it, you know? And the one that can't stand me is the leader. You understand? There's always a leader. Just like my aunt was the head honcho in our family, and everyone bowed down to her and whatnot, and she was the aggressive one. Well, this one that can't stand me is the aggressive one in the little team. What do you even call that? I mean, it's like, Joe calls them communists, but, you know, what do you call that where you can't complain about one to the other? That you're not allowed. And then there's new people all the time, new management. I mean, you can't win. New management comes on, and they're not going to know anything that happened, and they're just going to go by anything that the one who hates me says. I can't win against that. You understand? Not alone. And the church woman that you can't say, oh, you're not alone because you have the church. No. I can't deal with her. I can deal with her in limited doses, okay? And my aunt told her that I do YouTube. But I don't know if she really understands what I do. She's appalled by that, I'm sure. And I don't know if I can care if she's appalled. Do you understand? Believe me, I tried when my mom was well to get us a lawyer. Tried and tried and tried. It's all complicated, you know. It's complicated. It's not just any lawyer will take it. Plus I was dealing with all the other shit and, you know, I'm not strong enough to do this again. I already know what's going to happen. I already know it. A church woman, it's not you saying it to her, you know, I already know what's going to happen. And then, you know, she's in La La Land. My mom shouldn't go places alone, but she doesn't want to accept her limitations in this life. You try to talk her out of it, just like me and the church woman tried to talk my mom out of going to the Patriots Parade, and she wouldn't budge. She's stubborn, and she went alone, and she nearly wound up in the hospital there. A few months ago, before we went to the hotel and whatnot, shortly before actually, she wasn't doing that great, and she wound up snapping out of it. It was wonderful. She was wonderful in the hotel. And it wasn't because she was put on more meds or whatever. She snapped out of it on her own. Okay? We got along great in that hotel. We got along fine. She was fine. Okay? But I am not a robot. And if my mom pushes me and pushes me and pushes me to my breaking point, I am not Mother Teresa. I can't, you know. Anyway, it's deja vu all over again, but it was worse and I didn't know it. 4 months, right before we went to the hotel, so it wasn't 4 months ago, it was not that long ago. My mom went to the mall on her own, and I had originally supposed to meet her there, but she wasn't letting me sleep. It was really, really bad. I was positive she was going to wind up in the hospital before, and I had this whole speech prepared before. I told Celine and Joe, I said, if my mom winds up in the hospital when we're in a position where I'm not talking, I can't stand these people, and they know it, and now it's going to be me against them, and then, you know, and whatever. I'm going to reveal everything out on YouTube. But then everything cleared up. She snapped out of it on her own. No hospital, no adjusting meds. She snapped out of it. Okay? Oh, I'm sorry. She did, after the mall incident, her psychiatrist raised the Zyprexa up a little bit, but the Zyprexa, she had been reducing it very quickly. You know, in like a few months' time, it had gone from 15 to 10 to 5 to 20, so she just put it back up to 5, whatever, okay? But you know their solution is always meds. It's always meds, meds, meds. And you know how I and Joe and a lot of other people feel about that. And we're not here to try to convince you. Alright? I'm not here to try to convince you. I know it's all bullshit. It's all fucking pseudoscience bullshit, okay? My mom should prove that to you, how she gets this, that, and then she goes to one hospital and they switch it around and they put her on this and they take off this and then she's back on the same stuff. Okay? It's all bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. So there was an incident. The police were called. I guess she looked confused or whatever at the mall. Police were called. She winds up in the regular hospital, like always. And didn't even have to talk to crisis. That, you know, the one that I told you is the one that determines whether or not she gets sectioned. She didn't even have to talk to them. She was discharged. Me and the church woman thought that that was the case today. That it was just another incident. And church woman was like, you just tell them, you know, she has cataract surgery coming up. She can't wait. She even called and said, but it doesn't matter. It's too late. This was, I guess, a worse incident. We just didn't know it. And I didn't know that, you know, but of course she's going to be all agitated. And because she's pissed off that it's happening again, where she doesn't know that that the police are going to be tapping on her shoulder at the mall, that someone's going to perceive her as being whatever. She doesn't know that's going to happen. And if she's belligerent, that's it. You're instantly sectioned, and it was the done deal. I didn't know it was a done deal. You know, there are hospitals I don't want her sent to. So I could put in my suggestions, but I didn't even know that she had talked to them yet. I didn't understand when I called the nurse, and it was already a done deal. She didn't explain enough to me. But luckily I called back to see if she had talked to them yet? She's like, oh yeah, they're just waiting for a bed. I'm like, what do you mean they're waiting for a bed? Sometimes it takes days for you even to talk to whatever. One time I waited all day long to be that this was a different incident. Whatever happened, can the nurse tell me? No, they don't know. Nobody knows, you know. Last time I couldn't find out what happened either, but it didn't matter because she didn't wind up sectioned. Apparently, this time she was sectioned by, you know, the police. It was already a done deal. However she was behaving, you know. And the church woman called me because I didn't know why my mom wasn't home. And she called me, and then I said to her before she even said anything, I said, Mom's not home yet. She's like, yeah, she called me. She's in the hospital. But we didn't know what had happened. And you know, the church woman, she always thinks everything's going to be so wonderful. And then when it isn't wonderful, well, we'll just pray on it. I can't deal with that. You understand? I have no idea what happened. No one will tell me anything. Oh, they do tell me. They say that she was confused at the mall, delusional, manic, paranoid, whatever. Church woman's like, I just saw her, yes. Because before, I called her back, I said, I have bad news for you. Because to the church woman, she's like, I just was with her yesterday and she was fine. I mean, not perfect, but you wouldn't expect this. But she doesn't like the police either, so that's going to increase the situation. That's why when she winds up in these mental hospitals like that last time around with the fucking Thorazine, you know, she goes into third time's a charm for this place. They're not going to rest. They keep sending her there until she's dead. That's not what I've said. I could write a book on it, okay? I'm just waiting for her to be sent there again. Last time around, you know, you can't consult with her outside psychiatrist. You get her in your clutches. The psychiatrist in the mental hospital does whatever the fuck he pleases and bases it on how she's acting or the patient's acting at that moment. But maybe the patient is all agitated because they don't want to be in the mental hospital, motherfucker. You're going to not only put her on Thorazine, but come to find out, I found out after the fact, because I looked it up, it was a very high dosage, starting dosage of Thorazine on top of all her other meds. And she's elderly and she's never been on Thorazine, and 2 days later, it's only a coincidence though, of course, that's what people, you know, that she winds up in the regular hospital. And she spends 4 days, and I get called, and it was a suspected seizure, but we can't prove it's the Thorazine. I know it's a coincidence. So many coincidences in this life regarding, you know, psych meds and whatnot, right? But in the last time, it was, she had been put on a Haldol and wound up in the regular hospital from that same one. And then the first time was that lithium toxicity that nearly killed her in the outside world on her prescribed dose. Okay, so we're 3 for 3 in these motherfucking plays over the years. And I can't stop her from being sent there again. I have no power to do that. That's why I sarcastically said when I called them, like, you know, she gets sent to that place, I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown. I didn't say that. I said it to the church woman, though. Actually, I said something else I won't say out here. And then I said, I don't mean that. You know, I don't mean it. But that's how I feel. You know, with this, I can write a book. And then that time she fell in their shower, and I didn't know it, and of course they're going to keep it secret. It's on the weekend. You always have less staff on the weekend. This place is a shithole. And my mom says to me, hey, don't tell anybody that I fell in the shower. I don't want to get so-and-so in trouble. I'm like, Mom, you never told me you fell in the shower. And then, of course, I told and said that that happened, you know? She's always trying to protect and doesn't want you to know and doesn't want you to be upset, and that's why I've had to beg her. Any of these motherfucking government people say anything to you, please tell me. And she does tell me, and I have it all documented. It's all what I already know. They're trying to turn her against me. They're trying to brainwash her, and you get it? We already know that. We already know it. And we already know they're not even remotely her friends. Okay? I thought it was going to happen last time, and I was going to say all of this last time, but now it's happening now. My mother's had this illness for 40 years, and I am done being blamed. You know what I mean? My mom and I get along fine when she's not out of control. But when she's out of control, she had just seen her psychiatrist, and you know what I mean? It's not good when she's not sleeping. And I'm sure she got to the mall and got coffee at Dunkin' Donuts, and she's on a few hours sleep, and she's not taking her meds at the proper time. And I can't control that. It's all going to play into these motherfucking people's hands, okay? I saw the writing on the wall before, and then she snapped out of it. But she snapped out of it not being sent to the hospital. She does not turn out well when she gets sent to these fucking hospitals. She gets discharged in the same or worse condition as she went in. And they're all horrible. I'm sorry, they weren't all horrible. But she never gets sent to the ones that you know, she got sent once and then she never goes back. I mean, it's sickening. It is fucking sickening. They will cover their asses. Even that time that they didn't know that she wasn't taking her Depakote. And then they try to say, she said, you said not to, I never said any such thing. I was wondering why she wasn't getting better when you increased your Depakote. Remember, this is when Auntie was healthcare proxy but didn't want to be bothered. So I was the one handling it all I was on there as the whatever, the alternate or whatever, but I couldn't be bothered to be on the conference calls, and I couldn't get there, you know. So, I've told you this story before. This is not one of the 2 hated hospitals, but they're all horrible. This one, for over a week, one didn't know what they should know that she's not taking the Depakote, but they have their thumbs, and this was a better hospital, or so you thought. And then, because they can't justify keeping her too long, or they'll have to commit her, they They put her on a brand new medication, and without even seeing how she would react to it, discharged her 2 days later. They fuck up and they're going to cover their asses because now they don't have time, and they put her on a brand new medication, sent her on her merry way, one she hasn't never been on, and she was sent home literally in the worst condition I had ever seen her sent home in a mental hospital. It was unbelievably ridiculous. On a Friday, her elderly friend down the street said, "Laura, I have never seen your mom that bad," and she's known her like 10 years, and I said, "I know," and they sent her home that way, and 2 days later, I had to call the police on her after she had just spent nearly a month in that place. So don't you dare tell me that this system isn't not only broken, but disgustingly broken. And I'm hands-on. I was hands-on, hey? 2 days later, she had to be, and I went to that hospital, which is now one of my hated hospitals, and I told them everything that had happened in the other one. I said she was discharged too soon. I mean, she was discharged in worse condition than she went in, etc., and what they did, blah, 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 whatever. And in the end, that hospital discharged her in the same condition as when she had just gone in 3 weeks prior. You know? The same. They didn't help her at all, even despite everything that I told them. It's the same shit. Okay? And then I was left to deal with the fallout of that for weeks. And then you guys know the rest. She wound up in that same hospital again. She turned against me. Auntie who had said, "You be the healthcare proxy, I don't want to deal with it. I'm out of it. I'm just the sister, whatever. I want nothing to do with anything."